Alhamdulillah wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. So recently I was asked by one of the brothers about how do I use a dictionary and how to get the most out of like looking up words, and I want to talk about in this video just the importance of using a dictionary. Of course, one of the main aspects of learning Arabic is just learning the words, and this is called matan al-lugha, which is just learning the actual words and their meaning by themselves, like mufradat. And this is something that will take someone very, very, very far. If they can just understand the actual words, what does this word mean, then this will get them very, very far in their understanding, even if they haven't learned all the other sciences yet. But this is a very, very basic thing that someone can always benefit from learning a lot of words and memorizing them. So, of course, having a dictionary is the easiest way to do this, and the dictionaries are of different types. Some of the dictionaries, like for a very beginner, maybe he needs a dictionary that is English-Arabic, and of course there are pocket dictionaries that someone can have in a pocket. But even better than like a pocket dictionary is like a dictionary on someone's phone. And so the dictionaries on someone's phone, the iPhone is what I use most of the time because it's very quick. And you'll see here, if I want to type in anything, type in 3 letters right here. Alright, so I write qaf, ta, ta. Alright, and then I get qatta. And alright, I got qatta. And I also have qitata and qitat. Well, qitat. I didn't know all of these different jumur. So this is interesting. And so then also I have here is I have a cat, and then also in the Arabic right next to it, it has sinnawr. Okay, this is one of the other names for it. And so a lot of times you'll have another name in Arabic, and you should always remember this as well. And then you'll have like the different cats here, and you'll have say here qatta yaquttu. Okay, this is something that means to sharpen something. Okay, that's a new meaning that I didn't know before. And so also qattu. And this is also a different, like this is a different word, of course, and this means like never. Like so, hal ra'ayta mithla hada qattu. Okay, did you ever see anything like this? Of course, there's things with the usage of this that you would pick up in Nahu. But here you'll see that this is a very beneficial thing. And all you need to do is you'll see here on the side that you'll have the 3 letters that is at the top that will be next to it. It says qatata. And this is important. And so another one that I was looking for before was mizab. This was something yesterday. I came across this in one of the books of fiqh that was talking about water that came through a mizab. I was like, what's a mizab? And so then I looked up here and I saw mizab. Okay, and I have mayazib. Okay, this is the plural. Okay, that's good. And it's a roof gutter. And this is something that is good for someone to know. And if I look on the side too, you'll see that the 3 root letters, it'll give me the 3 root letters here, which is the waw, zay, and ba. And so this will also tell me what is the original here. And say maybe another one, which would be wazaga. Let's see here, wazaga. And I put this here. Okay, wazaf. Okay, this is wazaf, and it's a gecko. And so it'll give me some of these different words that I wouldn't necessarily know, which is very quick. And so anything that you come across, you can usually go through it very quickly and find what you're looking for just by typing it into the search. This is just in the iPhone. It's just in the actual search. Like when you search your iPhone, it'll come up on the dictionary right away, which this is faster than anything else. In general, when someone is in class and they're listening and they hear different words, or they're reading in a book and they understand a lot of it, but then they come across a word that they don't know, normally I would tell someone who's a beginner, just write a little line under it, maybe in pencil, so it's not like it's not something that's permanent, but just write a little line under it and then keep going. And try to figure it out from the context, because a lot of times the context will tell you what the word is that you're looking for. And when you go through and you have this line under there, maybe you don't understand what the whole paragraph is talking about, because the paragraph revolves around understanding this word, such as I mentioned here, the mizab. I was like, what was mizab? I needed to understand when they're talking about mizab and the ruling of water coming through the mizab, and someone said something about that there's probably najis in it. Okay, what did they mean by this? What is a mizab in the first place? I need to know what this word is so I can understand what they're talking about. And so when it didn't become clear from the context, then I pull up my phone, look up mizab. Oh, there it is. And so, and this is, of course, the Arabic language is huge and it's vast, and there's no way that that a person can just encompass the Arabic language. And of some of the things that some of the scholars they say no one person can encompass the Arabic language except a Nabi. Like only the Nabi could actually encompass Arabic. It's so big and vast, and this is one of the things that is a student. He'll come to a certain point where he will feel like he's never, like he doesn't know any words because there's so many words he doesn't know. And of course, there's different books that that address different vocabulary, and so there are some books such as this book here, which is called Mukhtar al-Sihah, which most of the time this will address a lot of the books or a lot of the words that come up in the Sunnah. And this is most of the books. And there's also another book that is very good for as a dictionary, which is also called here. And in this Al-Misbah al-Munir, this is في غريب شرح الكبير. And so this book actually is a book that goes, this is great for studying words and it's concise, but this book is actually just for Sharh al-Kabir in the Fiqh al-Shafi. So inside of this book, there are many words that are like gharib is what they would call them, is that they're unknown. And so this book went inside of all of these words that are gharib and just gave the meanings for this, and then added some extra things to it and whatnot. But this is a beautiful book for like a lot of hadith and whatnot. And there's also a book for hadith which is called Nihaya. And so like this is also another book that specifies all the strange words that come up in hadith. You can find them in Nihaya. There's also books that are specific, of course, for the Quran itself, because the Quran this is probably where someone should start. They should start with the Mufradat al-Quran. And as I mentioned before in some of the other videos, for the basic words of the Quran, like the basic ones that repeat themselves over and over again, there's an app that's called Quranic, which someone can get that app and practice with this as a very beginner, and they will learn a lot of the Quranic words. And then at a certain point, you'll see that you know 80% of the Quranic words. Wow, this is great. And of course, like the last 20%, this was something you'll find in Gharib al-Quran. And in Gharib al-Quran, you'll have certain books such as Al-Mufradat. This is one of the major ones by Al-Asbahani, Al-Raghib Al-Asbahani. And so in this book, they'll go into the different words that are in the Quran with the meaning and with a little bit of in-depth about what are the meanings in this. And of course, most of the time these will be broken up by the actual letters in the Quran and whatnot. And I'm gonna open up a book here so you can see kind of how this works. So here, this is Al-Misbah al-Munir. And I'm going to open up here and say if there's something I want to look up, a certain word. And here I actually put little tabs so that I can see what I'm trying to go to quickly. So if I'm in the middle of a lesson and I want to see a word, then I can look it up and see here. And so some words will have a lot. So say here, we'll look up at the beginning here. So you have sayala, and so you have as-sayl. And so he gives us as-sayl ma'rufun. So of course we know like a sail, which is like a flood and whatnot, or like a flowing. And so he says وَجَمَهُ سُيُول. All right, and then he gives you the plural of it. وَهُوَ مَصْدَر فِي الْأَصْلِ مِنْ سَالَ الْمَاءُ يَسِيلُ سَيْلًا. And so like that the water poured or flowed. And then he gives you also the tasrif here. سَيْلًا يَسَيْلًا. يَسِيلُ سَيْلًا. And this is the masdar. And there's a way that they will usually work with this, because they want to give you not just the word, which you have here is the root. You have the fa, ayn, lam. So you have the fa, ayn, lam. This is how they would say it in like the wazn. And you'll always have these root letters, and that's how you look for things, according to the root letters. And then they'll give you like the popular name, and then they'll give you the fa'l, and then they'll give you like its tasrif and mudara, and then also the masdar. And of course, memorizing masadir is very important. And he also says here, min bab ba'a. And then he'll give you other tasrif as well. So like asaltuhu isalatan. Okay, and this is another version of this same root word. Asaltuhu, this is af'ala. It's from like the bab af'ala. Asaltuhu isalatan. Okay, ajraytuhu. So it's like you made the water, you poured the water down, or ran the water through. And so here he gives a whole lot, and he's going to go on for a while in this word, because there's a lot of different tasarrif in this. And this is one version of this. And if we were to open up in another version, such as the Mukhtar, So I have here Mukhtar Sihah. This is a pocket version, so this is easy. Let's see here, Sahel. So he says Sahla, and so As-Sahl. And okay, he says ضد الجبل. Okay, so As-Sahl ضد الجبل. So this is the opposite of a mountain. وأرض. And so, and he says وأرض سهلة. So it's like something that's easy. والنسبة إلى السهل سهلي. And it says بالضم على غير قياس. And so of course here he mentions, of course, سهلي is different than I was even looking at. I was like, what's this? And then he also says وأسهل القوم ساروا إلى السهل. So like they went to that place, that is Sahel. وَرَجُلٌ سَهْلٌ سَهْلُ الْخُلُقِ. And that he has like good akhlaq. That's easy. وَالسُّهُولَ ضِدُّ الْحُزُونَ. And huzuna is like being rough and gruff. وَقَدْ سَهُلَ الْمَوْضِعُ بِالضَّمِّ. And so he says here, and so you have sahula, and you also have this. And so he gives a bunch of the different words in ashala, ad-dawa, tabi'atahu. And so he has a bunch of different words with tasheel, taysir, with tasahul, tasamuh. And so there's a bunch of different words that he'll give in tasrif. And this is a little bit easier here, or it's I wouldn't say easier, but it's less and it's more concise. And this is the Mukhtar as-Sihah, which is nice. And of course, using the phone, if you can, you just use the phone. This is easy, and there's no problem with just using the phone, and this is great. And also another thing that someone can help when they're developing their vocabulary is also saying this book here is Alfaz al-Kitabiyya, and this is a book that basically goes over a lot of similar meaning words. Like, so we have a bunch of words that mean similar things, and this book will help someone develop this. So just as an example here, so we have here, he says babu sakran, of course, like intoxicated. So he says yuqalu nashwanu wa sakranu wa nazifu wa thaminu wa yuqalu intashal rajulu ay sakira wa nazifa wa thamila. And so he has these different words in here that he'll bring as an example of these words being used. And so this is one bab. And he'll also have other ones as well. Let's see here. Bab al-mufakhara. And so here he says يقال فاخر فلان فلانا مفاخرة وكاثره مكاثرة وساجله مساجلة قال الشاعر. And these are similar the words have similar meanings, so he brings all of these together, and this helps someone develop their vocabulary. And the way that he says it here and brings a couple examples is really easy for someone to like comprehend. And then when they see it in the context next to other words that are synonymous or close to it, then this helps them develop their vocabulary. And this is one way for someone to, if they read through this and they try to comprehend, okay, what is he talking about here? What's the main concept here? And then he reads all these other mufradat that are like this. This will help him develop his vocabulary. And of course, when someone wants to start writing, it's better for them to expand their vocabulary to use other words than the same exact words. And this is also great for someone if they want to learn how to speak well in Arabic. Of course, this is a large field, but this is of the things that have been written in this field. And this is Alfaz al-Kitabiyya fi Ilm al-Arabiyya. And this is a good book for someone to go through. And also like this is Jawahir al-Alfaz. And this is also a good book for someone that is very, there's a lot of benefits of balagha, as well as just some of the ways that words will be used inside of context that will help someone develop their understanding of Arabic language when it comes to the matan al-lugha. And so of course someone could read some of these. And here, let's see here, bab al-fil istighna'i wal-kaffi an al-shay'. And so he says here al-qana'u المستغني أو القانع المستغني وفعله قانع ومصدر قناعة والقانع السائل وفعله قناعة والمصدر القنوع. And so he gives this, and maybe if this had some tashkil, it would be a little better in this particular copy, but this is the only one that I could find. And then he also says here والتنزه رفعة النفس عن الشيء تكرما وهو النزيه وذو النزاهة والعزف أن تصرف النفس عن الشيء وتدعه كما يقال عزفت نفسي عن الشهوات. And so he gives some of the different words that are around the same thing, and the way that he'll bring these together is in a way that is very that flows, and that is very easy for someone to memorize and understand the meaning of these words. And of course, there are levels when it comes to studying words. The first level of words that someone should learn is they should learn all the words that are in the Quran. That's the first level of vocabulary. Learn all the words that are in the Quran and the basic words that you need to know to get across your point to when you're talking with teachers and whatnot, and get across your point in that way. And then also the next level of words that you'll need to learn are the words that are in the Sunnah. So like any of the words that are in Hadith, this is something you'll need to know. And if you learn these two, this will be enough. Like these words that are in the Quran, the Sunnah, this will be enough for the average person what he needs to know. And for like a person who, even like a faqih, or someone who wants to have like the level of ijtihad, he needs to know all of these words. And then also there's words that come outside of these two things. So you have the Quran and Sunnah, you need to know all of the terminologies that come in that. Then there's words outside of that which come also in like the seerah and in adab. And this is a very, very large field. And a lot of times you won't actually find these words inside of some of these smaller dictionaries, such as like you won't find this in this dictionary. A lot of the words that come up there, you won't find them in here. There will be words that come up in like if you're studying poetry and whatnot, shared. You will find a lot of words that you have to go back to an actual sharh for these things to actually understand them, because these words aren't used in Quran, they're not used in Sunnah, and we don't use them anymore. So we have to go back to someone who does have them. Of course, of the major sources of like Lisan al-Arab, this is of like of the major sources if someone wants to go back and find words and look at an in-depth understanding of where they come from, what's their morphology, what are some of the ways that they're used. And this is great for someone to go to Lisan al-Arab, and they also have an app for Lisan al-Arab that is on the iPhone and whatnot, that you would type in the root letters. And of course, I can't overemphasize the importance of sarf. So if you understand sarf and you know how to look at what is the root words, you know what the fa, ayn, lam, if you can find this, then this will give you all the rest of the words. So if you knew the fa, ayn, lam, and you understand the basic meaning of this word, then you can understand the different tasarif of this word as well. So when you're studying and you find one word, say it comes in like makru'. So you have qara'a and you have someone who's a qari'. Okay, what's qari'? Qari' is someone who is man yaqra'. So like this is the ism fa'il from qara'a. And so you're like, okay, I know what this is because it came in qari'. What is makru'? Okay, and I know makru' is the thing that's read, because this is ism maf'ul min qara'a. There's other ways that might come in such as Qur'an. Okay, Qur'an, fu'lan. And so you're like, fu'lan, this is makru'. And it's like, this is of the meanings of Quran, you would have like this other meaning as well. So when you learn sarf and you learn the wazn and what does this wazn mean and what does it come in, then this will also open up the doors for you. All you need to know is qara'at, and you know the basic meanings of this. Qara'at comes in the meaning of like a reading or putting together, like jama'. And so like these meanings, when you have this and you understand the basic meaning of this, and then it comes in a different form that you haven't seen yet, if you have sarf, it'll give you a big hint with the context. It'll give you a big hint to what you're looking at, and it'll help you go very, very far once you understand where the root letters are. Because if you didn't know that the like Quran, if you didn't know that the alif at the end was zaid, and also that the noon is zaida, like that this isn't a part of the root letters, and then this would throw you off. You'd be looking for when you type it into the dictionary, you would write all 5 of these letters, but there's only 3 letters that you need to write. You just need to write the qara'at. You just need to write these 3, and then you'll find it in the dictionary. So understanding what to look for in the dictionary. Of course, I recommend the iPhone dictionary for most things, but of course there's going to be a lot of things that will miss, that you won't find in the iPhone dictionary, but it's quick. And this is why I like it, because we don't have time to stop for every single word when you're looking and reading. In a book, you can't stop for every single word. And if you are reading a book that you only understand a small portion of it, then maybe you need to stop and take a level of a book that you can read easily. But if you can read and understand about 80% of what you're reading, then this is great. And then those other words that you don't know, just write a little line under them and like pencil, And if you want to go back and then look up each one of these words once you're done with your reading session, then this is great. And it might open up meanings to you that you didn't have before. But if you stopped for every single word while you're reading, you're never going to get very far while you're reading. And like having the context, just thinking about it in the context, it'll clear up what the meaning of this word was. This is of the most beneficial things that someone can do. And also, if you are reading and you need to stop for a word, don't stop for the word unless the word, like the whole paragraph, is contingent on the meaning of a certain word. So if you find this word and you're like, okay, this was what this is what opens up the meaning of the whole thing, okay, you need to stop for this word. But if you just find like there's a word here and there that you don't understand, maybe it comes in contrast with its opposite. Maybe it's this way, not this way. And this way you didn't know that this one is, but you know it's the opposite of this. Okay, it's probably the opposite of that, and you can keep moving. You don't need to stop for everything. And of course, this is a huge subject, and someone who wants to go into the depths of it, it's going to take years, and it's not something someone can get overnight, and it takes practice and whatnot. But the best thing someone can do is read a lot, and also focus on the most important vocabulary that they need to know, such as the vocabulary that comes up in the Quran and Sunnah and any of the books that they're studying currently. Then they need to know the vocabulary for these books. Of course, when someone goes into adab, this is going to be a much larger thing, and someone shouldn't necessarily wear themselves out on this, especially if they haven't spent if they haven't like put in time into the other ulum that they need to do. So if you have someone who's just memorizing a bunch of words and he still hasn't learned like the basics of fiqh, then maybe you should go learn the basics of fiqh, and these words will come back. You know, like if you need to know it, it'll come back in a lot of the different books. And that's one of the easiest ways that I've memorized things is just by reading a lot. Because if I were to like just look at because there's a way of like using Quizlet or these other Anki cards or whatever to get to memorize words, but this sometimes is tedious and it doesn't give you the words in the context. And if you're just reading a lot, you'll get these words that are the most important words. They'll come back to you all the time, and so it'll just remind you of the words when you're reading it. And Allah knows best. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.
فلذلك فادع واستقم كما أمرت ولا تتبع أهواءهم وقل آمنت بما أنزل الله من كتاب وأمرت لأعدل بينكم الله ربنا وربكم لنا أعمالنا ولكم أعمالكم لا حجة بيننا وبينكم الله يجمع بيننا وإليه المصير.